A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy. Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene with you this morning. I'm sorry I left the damn sound on the computer again.
Why is this so hard for him?
Shut up.
He's like the old woman that's like, I don't have silent on my
I
phone.
don't have silent on my phone. I've turned into my parents. Good God.
Jesus. You would think you would have gotten into something that more suited your skills, like whittling.
I tried, but I don't have strong enough hands for that.
Stunner.
Yeah, it's the Sportsocracy at the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias.
That's at ESPN Radio because he's just all the hell today.
Shut up.
Jeremy got 6 full hours of sleep last night, which is about 4 more than I've been averaging. So
there you go. Good job for you. Follow, like it, share it on all of the social medias at the Sportsocracy. Check out thesportsocracy.com as well. It is a Thursday morning, and the Rona, it's taken over everything again. Nick Saban's got the coronavirus. There's another NFL team that's having an outbreak, and we're all questioning whether or not we have souls, allowing all of the sports to continue amidst the pandemic.
Amidst the second wave. We're all going to die. Oh, wait, nobody's going to get sick because nobody has yet.
Very true.
We are one legitimately scary virus away from eating each other. I maintain that. This is the way it is.
Still waiting to hear any news on old Le'Veon Bell. I thought this would be a very quick process.
I have a funny feeling you're going to hear something today. And I have a feeling it's going to end in Pittsburgh Steelers.
Still putting your money in that basket.
I am. Nothing else makes that level of sense.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things make sense. Nothing makes sense to that level. He already knows the playbook. He's already comfortable in the offense. And that team's really good.
Mm-hmm.
And James Conner's really not.
All right. He still puts up numbers.
Hey, but on the bright side, the Jets are going to be rolling out a sweet backfield of Frank Gore and LaMichael Pirine this week.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
2 raccoons. Let's do this thing.
Ugh. I actually like LaMichael Pirine. I shouldn't be talking shit.
You think he's the back of the future?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right.
I do.
You keep convincing yourself of that?
I have to hold on to something.
Even if it's just a small sliver of hope.
Yes.
Le'Veon Bell has not been signed. There has been a trade in the NFL, though.
Was it Kamali Correa?
Yeah.
I read that and I went, oh, he's still in the league? Cool.
Uh-huh.
That's good to know. Oh, and now we went to the Siberia of the NFL in Jacksonville, which means I will forget he's in the NFL until he's traded again.
I thought it was great how fast that request got filled. He comes in the day after the game. He got scratched from the game the other night with the Buffalo Bills, and he went in first thing the next morning and said, I want to be traded or released if you're not going to play me. And they went, okay.
That's usually a very bad sign when I want out of here. Okay. Can you do an hour from now?
I got you a ticket to Jacksonville just waiting on you.
Can you get all of your shit in an hour? Maybe an hour and a half?
I wonder if they even got him a plane. Did they get him a bus ticket?
Yeah, they put him on a Greyhound. Ain't that far to Jacksonville.
Grab your suitcase.
We've already sunk enough money into you. We ain't putting out for a plane ticket on short notice.
He got traded for a 6th round pick. Oh, him and a 7th round pick.
That's always a bad sign.
Yeah.
When you and a pick 1 round later get a pick the round former, that usually means that it was like, you can cut this guy if you want to.
Yeah. We just want to see if we can boost our draft stock just a little bit.
Just a hair.
Because, I mean, it's really going to be a difference maker in the franchise getting that top 7th round pick as opposed to the late 6th round pick. I mean, also think about where it came from.
Yeah, it's going to be like 5 picks of difference.
So yeah, that's the trade. What? How did you say his name? Kamale Correa.
Kamale Correa.
Okay.
Vice president.
It does, doesn't it? Kind of sounds like a vice president.
Not yet, it doesn't.
Not yet. Just stop counting those chickens before they hatch, huh?
Fact. Hey, we have our new team of what are they going to do this weekend? And surprise, surprise, it's the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah. We've had an outbreak in the Falcons organization. 4 positive tests.
That's not an outbreak, by the way.
And now all
Please
of the
stop using
speculation
that
can
word
begin.
in a way that it doesn't pertain to.
Yeah, they're using
4 people is not an outbreak, okay? That's not a pandemic or a second wave or all that other nonsense bullshit.
Well, it's not a good sign when you have multiple showing up at once.
Well, when you have 200 people in the building and 4 of them have it, stop calling that an outbreak.
What's the barrier? Where does it have
More.
to be?
It's more. I couldn't tell you a definitive number. It's more than 4.
Like Florida dealing with 19? Is that?
If
or
it's
is
an
that
acceptable
outbreak
number
territory?
of cars for you to have in your driveway and not be a prick, then no, that's not. So that's not an outbreak.
That's not it. That's not it.
Nope.
No, I'm disagreeing with you. 4 is way too many for your driveway.
If you got multiple people, that's fine.
Okay.
Amy and I are 2 people. We have 3. So
Now throw a kid in there.
yeah.
Now throw a kid in
Yeah.
Throw a 16-year-old in there.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Boom.
Clean out your garage. That's.
I don't have a garage. I don't whittle in shit, so I don't need a garage.
Oh.
I don't do handyman things. I don't wake up on Saturday morning and go, we need to get after this driveway. You know
Right.
what I do on Saturday? I wake up and go, all right, let's go make this money. Gambling time.
Does Jeremy look like he has a Bowflex in his garage?
Oh.
I actually do have a Bowflex in my laundry room. I hang laundry on it. Very convenient. It's like
Good
a big
job.
flower. You just hang your pants right on
That's
there.
what you use the bows for?
Yep.
Is to hang laundry
Sure as
on?
hell don't use them to flex.
It's evident. It's quite evident.
Coming from a man who started a movie called Fat Asses. I mean, heavyweights.
Hey, you got to be nice.
I don't have to be
Those
nice.
are children you're
I don't
talking
have to
about.
do anything. I don't have to do anything but pay taxes and die.
Those are children you're talking about, damn it. The fragile 11-year-old children. Leave them alone. Yes, the Atlanta Falcons shut down their facility this morning after 4 positive tests, and we will wait and find out if it gets any bigger. Right now, the game should not be in danger, but we've seen, like with the Tennessee Titans, how fast these things.
Well,
how
the
fast this
Alabama
number
game
can
shouldn't be
go
in
up.
danger either, but it all of a sudden is. And
Well,
I love
'cause
the
it's Nick
conspiracy
Saban.
theories of, oh, they were scared they were going to lose to Georgia, so Saban got the Rona. Shut the hell up. They weren't scared they were going to lose to Alabama. They're just hoping now that Steve Sarkisian's smart enough to drive that boat and not crash it into the marina.
He knew it was coming. Nick Saban knew that it was coming. He was going to lose to one of his assistants. He was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
Disagree for the square.
Back it out. I'll back it out. I'm afraid that that perfect record's going to be in danger.
Yeah, I'm going to say he didn't. I'm going to say he didn't. Because if you bet on Georgia, you shouldn't.
But I love how the talk is, oh well, there is an NCAA rule that keeps him from coaching.
That's actually not true.
Okay.
Hugh Freeze coached a game from a hospital bed 2 years ago. So I love when people just make shit up and go, nobody will know. Hugh Freeze coached from a hospital bed 2 years ago.
Did not know that.
Yeah, that's when he was at Liberty. He had appendicitis, I think,
Okay.
and he was in a hospital bed.
Well, it seems like every sports writer is citing some NCAA rule that says if he's not at the game,
He has to
cannot have
physically be in
contact.
the building. He can be hidden in a coat closet if that's what they so choose to do.
Uh-huh.
He has to be in the building.
Right. So
He
how?
can't call in. Robbie Wright just said it perfectly. He can text in. He cannot call in.
Gotcha.
But if they can find a way to get him in the building, he can do whatever he wants to.
Mm-hmm.
He can be rolled in a iron lung if that's what they so choose.
Mm-hmm. The NCAA rule everybody's citing apparently is 90 minutes before kickoff. He can have no communication, and he can't have communication with the team during the game.
Correct.
Just like Mike Norvell at Florida State earlier this season.
Well, Mike Norvell has no communication with the team when he's in the stadium, so I think that's a little different.
But then now there's people talking about, well, maybe we should just change this rule because we can work remotely. He should be able to coach remotely.
They're not gonna, because even if you could, you wouldn't, because you can't see everything from a television screen that you can see in the stadium.
Oh, but Nick Saban said about practice yesterday that it was actually an advantageous position for him, that he could see the wider angle and he could see more things going on the field.
Well, that's because Nick Saban is a liar.
And everything went fine at practice, and he's sure that Sark is going to be able to do a good job on Saturday.
Well, Sark's record doesn't lend itself to that.
No.
I don't think it matters. I really don't. I don't think it matters who coaches this team.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can be Sarkisian, it can be Saban, it can be me. I don't think it matters. They're going to beat Georgia by a touchdown plus.
No.
God, this makes this so much better for me. When you lose to one of the worst coaches in college football history by 3 scores, I'm just going to come in here like, roll tide, woo!
We'll see. This is going to be it. This is going to be the time Georgia gets over that Alabama hump. This is just the break we were looking for, Kirby.
What, Nick Saban getting the Rona?
Yep.
That's the break you were looking for?
Yep.
Kind of tells me everything I need to know that you need the coach to get the COVID-19 before you can actually beat him.
Hey, it is
But
what
what
it
do I
is.
know?
He's one of the greatest coaches of all time.
But what do I know?
I don't know. What do you know?
All kinds of things.
Uh-huh.
You know what I knew last night? Coastal Carolina and the money line. You're welcome.
Yep, Jeremy's first money line pick of the week was successful.
Here's what really pisses me off. It was originally in that 5-way parlay, and the losers were not, which means that bitch would have hit, and it makes me want to pull my hair out at the root, and it makes me hate this overreaction to this virus even more.
Coastal Carolina beats number 21 Louisiana 30-27.
Here's the thing. You know where I had them in my power rankings on, what was that, Monday?
Yep.
Yeah, they were 19. You know where Louisiana was? Not in the top 25. And they were a 9-point dog, which I kept watching the number move, and I'm like, you realize every time you bump this up, I'm going to bet it again. And I did.
Good job. Congratulations on that.
Yeah. Coastal Carolina's actually really good. The Sun Belt's really good. Oh, secret time, Sun Belt's better than the Big Ten.
Oh, my God.
Weird.
You can't keep this up.
Oh, I can't keep this up? Oh, really? Oh, can I not now? Because I believe that I completely can. There are more good teams in the Sun Belt than there are in the Big Ten.
Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Okay. If my computer will ever go, I will lead you down the path of righteousness.
Okay, you have Coastal Carolina.
Top 25 team.
Okay, you have Appalachian, who's not played a game yet in conference.
A borderline top 25 team.
You got Louisiana.
Top 25 team.
And what?
Three.
Arkansas State.
Arkansas State's pretty good. Their 2 losses are not great, but one of their losses was to Coastal Carolina. Secret time. Do you realize that these teams have played the Big 12 3 times and they're 3-0? Big 12 is better than the Big 10. Straight up, it's better. They're 3-0 against the Big 12.
Ohio
I'm
State,
telling you,
Penn State, Michigan.
Ohio State and Penn State are
Wisconsin.
the outliers. Ohio State and I'll
I
give
just
you
gave
that.
you 4 teams that are in the top 25.
Michigan shouldn't be, and it's fucking stupid that they are.
Okay.
And I've said they're not in my top 25.
Oh, I know they're not in your
They're
top
not
25.
in my top 25 because they don't have a quarterback, which is kind of important.
Minnesota.
They lost a ton off that team last year.
Okay.
No, I don't feel good about Minnesota. And Rashad Bateman's been away from the team for 3 months, and he's just going to swoop back in like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, I'm out. I can't wait for this to be right. We've argued about this for 2 straight days. Like, whether that camera's on or not.
Because you're now saying there are two Group of 5 conferences that are better than the Big Ten.
Yep.
That
From
has
top to bottom.
5 teams.
Now
in the top
but you
25.
keep leaving out a very important thing that I'm saying here. From top to bottom. The Big Ten is Ohio State, Penn State, and
3 other top 25 teams.
They're in a poll that they have not played a game in. So you're quoting me the preseason top 25. That's your argument. You do realize Florida State has been in this poll 3 times in the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
In the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that work out? They haven't won more than 6 games in 4 years. I don't give a rat's ass where you are in the preseason poll. Coastal Carolina right now would beat every team in the Big Ten that's not named Penn State or Ohio State. Straight up, and I would bet the hell out of it. And the bigger number you give me, the more I'm going to like it. And I feel the same exact way about Appalachian State, and I feel the exact same way about Georgia State. Mm-hmm. By the way, Georgia State tonight, money line, you're welcome. Might have a parlay on that with some doubloons on it.
Look, I understand that the competition in the Sun Belt is good, but it's the Sun Belt.
Mm-hmm. I think you're overvaluing the Big Ten, and you have been forever. And you're overvaluing how vindictive the NCAA is going to be because you tried to screw us. And so every opportunity they have to denigrate you, they're going to take it. And you're playing 3 less games than everybody else in America, which is not going to help your cause all that much.
Mm-hmm. So now you're saying there's a Sun Belt team that could get into the playoff?
No, I didn't say that.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
No, you're going to see Sun Belt teams do really, really well in bowl games, though. Mm-hmm. And probably a number of them are going to be against Big 12 teams. If you tell me right now Coastal Carolina played Michigan in a bowl game, I'd bet my house on Coastal Carolina.
Really?
Yes. And it's not even legitimately close. Same thing with Wisconsin. Not even close. Wouldn't think about it for a second. Now, Ohio State and Penn State, that's what you got. And one of them's going to lose because they play each other.
Yes, they will. Man.
I'm just telling you.
You're full of spicy hot takes today.
Well, you're just overvaluing the Big Ten. It's the same spicy hot take I've had for 3 months. You're overvaluing this shitty conference. The Big Ten is way closer to the Pac-12 than they are to any other major conference in football. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. And I think the Big 12 sucks. And I think pillar to post, they would beat them. If they played, let's see, there's 12 teams in both of the, well, there's 10 in the Big 12 and 10 in the Big 10. 12 in the Big 10, which is stupid.
Uh-huh.
If they played 10 games, I'll bet the Big 12 wins 6 of them. At least. Might win more than that.
Jeez.
I don't buy this. I don't buy it at all.
You don't buy that the Big Ten is the Big Ten and is historically been the 3rd best conference in college football?
Best. I think it's been overrated for years. I mean, literally. All right. Let's just go back down the rabbit hole here.
Okay.
Just since you're so dogmatic on this, do you realize how many teams in the Big Ten had double-digit wins last year?
4.
You want to take a puncher's guess at it?
4.
That's 2. Just 2. It's the 2 you would think it would be, too.
Ohio State and Penn State.
Oh, no, that's a lie. I didn't look at the other side. No, I had 5.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Penn State, Ohio State. I keep forgetting they have stupid divisions.
They have different conferences or different divisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know, the thing that kills me is you look at who they beat, and there's nobody there. Mm-hmm. I mean, they all they do is cannibalize each other. And people like you go, oh, look how good the Big Ten is. And yet they go into bowl games and get slaughtered every year. Every year, some shitty team from the SEC, some 6 in the SEC, beats the 3rd best team in the Big Ten by 30 in a bowl game. Mm-hmm. And yet people like you still go, oh, they're still 3rd best conference in college football. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Straight up, they're not. They're not, it's not close. This year it's SEC 1, ACC 2, and then a huge drop-off. Big 12 3, Big 10 4. Pac-12 might be 4. But there's more teams I'm scared of. They're playing.
Not yet.
Well, neither's the Big Ten. You
Right.
can't have that both ways. You
Right.
can't say, "Oh, I'm scared of this team that's not playing, but I'm not of this one because they're not playing."
Right.
Yeah, you got to pick a lane on that one.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, it's just not that. I don't get it. I don't get what anybody's seeing in this conference that has absolutely zero draftable quarterbacks outside of Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. The only one in the whole damn conference that's even draftable. Yes, I've done my evaluations 2 years out. There's not a draftable quarterback in this conference. And yet that's a spicy hot take.
Yes, it is. Because I don't think there are too many people that will be on the side of the AAC and the Sun Belt
The
are both
AAC
better
is-
than the Big Ten.
The AAC is an equivalent conference. You've tried to make that more drastic than it was. What I said was that they are equivalent. And I'm telling you right now, it's more impressive for Cincinnati to go all the way through that conference.
Mm-hmm.
It's more impressive than what Ohio State will do. That's what I said. You're trying to make this more than it was. And I'm telling you right now, if Cincinnati goes undefeated, Ohio State has one loss, Cincinnati gets in, it's not close.
Okay.
And that was where you actually got real feisty and disagreed with me.
Right, exactly.
Ohio State has one loss on an 8-game schedule. They do not make the playoff, period. Period.
But I think they get more. They'll get more credit than an undefeated Cincinnati team.
I don't. You played 3 less games and you lost 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the schedule is, I'm telling you right now, the strength of schedule will be on Cincinnati's side. Because they play Penn State and Michigan and nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. But to have that one loss, they would have the championship. Unless they lose in the championship.
I could care less about you winning this shitty conference. I don't care. And I guarantee you the selection committee is going to feel the exact same way.
Oh, come on. For years, all the discussion has been about if you don't have a conference championship, how can you have the playoff?
Yeah,
Or how
and
can
you're
you be in
only
the
playing
playoff?
in conference. That's all you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way for me to judge how good you are against somebody outside of this shithole conference.
Mm-hmm.
This is what Ohio State has to do every year. This is the reason they have Oregons and teams like that on their schedule. Because they have to be able to point to somebody and go, hey, look, they're in a reasonable conference and we beat them. Because this is a bag of dicks with a bunch of Rutgers and Nebraska and Maryland and all the other worthless teams at the bottom of this conference.
Okay.
I can't wait to be right about this because the minute Ohio State loses a game, they're going to fall like a rock in a fish tank.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to lose a game. You mark my words, they're going to lose a game.
Well, if they lose a game like to Illinois,
I don't give a fuck
obviously
who they
that
lose to.
would-
I don't care if they lose to Penn State by a point. You're out. Bye. And as soon as Penn State loses to somebody, they're out. Bye. And there's nobody else in that conference that's even legitimate.
Uh-huh.
That's even worth talking about.
Okay. We'll just have to wait and see how the games go. What's it? 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks till the Big Ten starts up.
It will be next weekend.
Yes. Coming up this weekend in college football, though, what are your best games?
Oh, well, Florida LSU was going to be one of them, but
Not anymore.
well, 5-11, not too good. I mean, there's.
SMU.
I like SMU a lot.
I got them money line.
I do too. I like Shane Bichelle a lot. That game is tomorrow. Cincinnati Tulsa is going to be closer than you think it is, because Tulsa is better than you think they are. Other than that,
Boston College.
I like Boston College a lot this week too. There's a lot of games I want to bet, not a lot of games I want to watch.
Okay.
I mean, I'll watch SEC football anytime. I mean, Georgia-Alabama is the right answer.
Right. I mean, that's the number one game.
That's
of
the one
weekend.
that we all know, and we all know that's the one that we're going to all be watching.
That's why they're talking about abolishing the rules for Nick Saban.
They're not going to do that.
No, they're not going to do that. But I think it's funny that the discussion comes up if it's Nick Saban. Nobody talked about this when it was Mike Norvell because nobody gave a shit.
I gave shit.
But on the national scale, they're talking, oh, God, now it's Nick Saban. Now we've got to change all the rules. Make sure that Nick Saban can coach his team.
Nick Saban doesn't need to coach this team to beat your Georgia team.
You're insane.
Steve Sarkisian, frankly, they could have Steve. I'm trying to think of a funny Steve. Steve Carell. Steve Carell could be coaching this team. They're still going to beat you.
You're crazy. You're not giving that defense enough credit.
Defense is fine. You can't score.
Yeah, we can.
You can't score. Not with Cowboy Hat Bennett at quarterback against Alabama. Before you tell me, we scored points on Tennessee. Yeah, when you got the ball at the 25-yard line. Not real hard to score then when Jared Gordon-Tano throws 2 of the worst interceptions I've ever seen. You know who's not going to do that? Mac Jones. I don't give a damn who's calling his plays. He's not going to do that, which is why he's the starting quarterback at Alabama and Jared Gordon-Tano's at Tennessee. Tennessee fans hate me, and I love it.
Look, I get that it's been a couple of rocky starts for Georgia, but that defense has locked everybody down that they play. They give up 6 points in the second half of ball games.
Okay.
So far this year. I'm not saying they're going to shut Alabama out, but I think you think the discrepancy is so huge between these teams, I don't.
I do. I think it's marked. And I love that you give me, they've given up 6 points in the second half of games. To Arkansas and Auburn and Tennessee. You know what all 3 of those teams have in common? I've told you repeatedly, they're not good.
Alabama just gave up, 43 to Ole Miss?
And scored damn near 70. And could have scored 100. Do you think you can do that? No.
You think they can roll over that defense like that?
They're going to score points.
Oh, of
they're
course
going
they
to
will.
score points.
Of course
you mark my words, there's going to be points scored in this game.
Yes. It's not. I don't.
The over-under is 56.5. That should tell you damn near everything you need to know.
Yes.
Because that's a lot. Understand that Texas A&M Mississippi State is less than that. That's how much Vegas values your defense. Kentucky, Tennessee's 46. This is how much Vegas values your defense that you keep telling me about.
Okay.
God, he's going to be so heartbroken. He's going to be so devastated at about 11 o'clock on Saturday night when he looks at the scoreboard and it's Alabama a whole damn lot and Georgia a whole damn little.
Not going to happen. I think there's a better chance of Florida State beating Carolina this week.
Than of Alabama beating Georgia?
No, of them boat racing Georgia.
You're out of your fucking mind.
No.
There's a better chance of the world coming to an end in the next 5 minutes than Florida State beating North Carolina. North Carolina could leave half the team in Chapel Hill and still beat us by 6 touchdowns. And it doesn't even have to be the good half. Yeah, there's no shot of that happening.
Boston,
you're just undervaluing how much better Alabama actually is than you.
Yeah.
Now, if JT Daniels was starting a quarterback, I wouldn't be saying this. 100%. If you would, for whatever reason that you have struggled to get him integrated into this team, and I don't know the answer to that. If he was the one starting under center on Saturday, I would say this is going to be a good competitive game. You have Cowboy Hat Bennett, which tells me this is going to be god-awful because he has been made to look god-awful by 3 teams that are far inferior to what he's getting ready to see.
Boston College and Georgia Tech is one of those
Virginia
games.
Tech.
Or, excuse me, what did I say?
Georgia Tech.
Virginia Tech, excuse me. That game coming up at 8 o'clock on Saturday night
That's
well.
one of my favorite money line plays of the week because Virginia Tech's like a 12-point favorite.
It's something like that. It's stupid.
It was at 11, and I thought, oh, this is going to go down. I should bet it early, and it went up.
I have them. They're plus 320.
Boston College is plus 320. That should tell you everything you need to know. Because I like pluses and don't like minuses.
And then elsewhere in college football, you got Notre Dame and Louisville.
Louisville's bad. Louisville's just terrible. The thing about Notre Dame is going to do what Notre Dame does, and they're not going to play a team that impresses me at all. Then they play Clemson on November 7th. And I think Clemson might beat them by 50. And then we're all going to go, well, was Notre Dame good or were they a product of the schedule? Because we do that every freaking year.
Notre Dame gets into those big-time games, and they have not been historically
They have
great
great
at that.
Notre Dame has great talent. The problem is that they're never tested. And so the minute they play a team like that, they don't know what to do. It's the reason they haven't won one of those games in like a decade. They play too many Michigans and Big Ten teams that suck,
And USC.
who also sucks.
Uh-huh.
That's why you don't hire Clay Helton. Just let that be known. USC recruits at a very high level. Clay Helton shows up and they stop. What do you think changed?
Also, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. I'm just interested to see if the Mike Leach era is going to be as bad as it has been so far.
No, it's not. It's going to take him some time. You got to understand. Look at what this team came from and what he's asking them to do now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about Mississippi State a year ago. They had a running quarterback, first of all. And now they're running the air raid. Just because they brought in KJ Costello doesn't mean that every guy on that team is not poorly built for this offense.
Right.
Now, what they did to LSU, that was impressive.
It was indeed. But the last 2 weeks have not gone well for them.
If they somehow find a way to beat Texas A&M, I think my head might explode.
They got completely shut down by
You've been
Kentucky.
butt raced by two bad teams, and you beat two good teams.
Mm-hmm.
Two good-ish teams.
Speaking of, that Kentucky team is going to go up against Tennessee. Is this where Tennessee falls out of the poll?
I think Kentucky wins this game. Outright. I don't buy Tennessee, and I never have.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's much that can happen for me to believe them because they just keep getting run off the field by good teams. You know, they let the South Carolinas and the Kentuckys play with them, and then they get just boat raced by Florida and Alabama and Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
They don't belong. They don't belong in the top 20. They never have, and I'm going to keep saying it until they're not there anymore.
Well, it probably won't be long, even if they do survive against Kentucky, because Alabama's next.
Yeah, and they'll lose that one by a whole mess.
Yes, I'll agree with you on that one. I'm just not giving you Georgia.
It's going to be an uncomfortable Saturday for you.
I
would turn your phone off. I'm just giving you a piece of advice. Because I know Jeremy, and I know what happens when he's 8 Anheuser-Busch's in. He'll pull his phone out and go, I'm going to piss him off.
You can try all you want to, but I think I'm going to feel just fine at the end of this thing.
When it's 42-6 at the end of the third quarter.
You're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not giving them enough credit.
No, you're giving them way too much. It probably falls somewhere in the middle, so it'll probably like 28-6.
I disagree with you, sir.
That makes me like it way better, by the way.
All teams will be eligible in college football to play in bowl games, regardless of your record. The NCAA coming down with that.
Which just greater makes bowls an absolute fallacy.
The NCAA coming down with that you will not have to have a 500 record to participate in a bowl. They've also decided to give an extra year of eligibility to winter sports athletes because of the coronavirus pandemic, giving them the ability to...
Because of the Rona. I'm going to do that every time you mention this damn virus. 8 months later, nobody in sports has gotten so much as a sniffle, and we're still talking about that.
That's not true.
Name it.
There was a kid from Appalachian State, a basketball player, that got the coronavirus and died.
Okay. There's your anecdotal evidence of the year. I thought you were going to say the D3 kid that weighed 400 pounds.
No. I'm not saying the D3 kid.
We've probably had 50,000 cases across all sports.
I'm with you on this. I'm just against blanket statements that say this is not a danger. It is a danger to some people.
I'm against stupid anecdotal stories like that, because people say that all the time. I could literally tell you a case of somebody dying from chlamydia. So, if you want to go down that path, I can walk that with you.
I don't really want to walk that path.
Well, no, I get this on Twitter a lot because it's not that I'm dismissive about this. It's, for the love of God, how have we not figured this out yet? Mm-hmm. We have spent more man hours and more time, and it's just awe-inspiring to me that we're still here. Did you see the story from, I don't know if it was Rick Bucher? I want to say it was Rick Bucher yesterday, talking about the NBA, that the vast majority of shoe deals are not being renewed because of the lack of people actually buying shoes, the lack of game time, the lack of promotion ability. all those different things. This
Right.
is just another of a grand effect of things that are going to be affected by this. And yet 9 months later, it seems that no one has a plan. The NFL, who I give the most credit in the world, you have the Falcons have 4 positive tests, and you don't know what to do. We're still talking about there not being an extra week at the end of this season. That's mind-boggling to me. Like, at this point, if you haven't committed to yourself that there's going to be another week on the end of the season, I don't know how to help you. Because you've already had, how many games have we had postponed at this point?
Postponed.
We've
what's
had
it been
4
like?
moved off their original date.
Right. I mean, it's a handful.
Yeah, through 5 weeks.
And you're going to have another one. You're going to have more postponements and everything. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Falcons and the Vikings not play this week if this number gets bigger. You're going to continue
The Falcons are not going to play this week. Just let that be known. If you're counting on anybody in that game, you're not going to have them. It's Thursday.
Right.
You know, they can't even clear that facility until Saturday, which means they're not getting back in that room. So if you were to play, it would be just showing up on Sunday
Right.
and seeing what happens. And if you think that's not part of why guys are getting hurt at such an alarming rate, you're wrong. Because you're taking these 3-day layoffs that we're doing virtual learning and installment of the playbook through Zoom meetings and shit like that. This is why people keep getting hurt. Because you can't watch. To me, this is like people that watch YouTube videos and think they can do really over-the-top things. Like if you watch a YouTube video on how to fly a plane, doesn't mean I want to fly with you.
Right.
Just because you watch a Zoom call about how to install an offense doesn't mean you've ever actually done it. And that's the reason that we have so many ACLs and knee injuries and ankle injuries and all these other things, because we've got these. You have guys that go through 3 days of practice, and then somebody has the Rona, and you haven't been within 500 feet of them, but you gotta go sit at the house. And 3 days from now, we're gonna ask you to play high-level competitive sports because that's brilliant.
It has created many, many problems, and it continues to, but it's going to. That's the problem. Is that it's going to
here's my
continue
problem.
to
Where
cause
does it stop?
problems.
I mean, we're officially at the point of where does this stop? And I mean, I'm not trying to denigrate, these anecdotal stories of there was this one kid here and this one kid here. I get that. I totally understand that. It's awful. It's awful. It's awful that anybody has died of this. At some point, we have to come up with a plan that's actually sustainable if this is going to continue to be a thing. I'm not saying you have to come completely to my side or completely to the side of the Clay Travises and the things like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have to come up with some kind of plan, because what we're doing right now is dumb. Between college football and the NFL, this is dumb kind of shit.
So what do you think could work? What would be the
I'm not a doctor.
alternative
I don't
plan?
know. But I know we've had 9 months to figure this out, and nobody's gotten any closer, because you get these people that are like, well, this one kid probably died of chicken pox. There are a handful of people a year that die from chicken pox. So that anecdotal story is not grand scale. And I don't know why nobody's willing to say this, but it's the truth. There are anecdotal stories about everything. Right now, what we're doing is putting kids' health at risk, not because of this virus, because 99.99, however many nines you want me to say, are going to be completely unaffected. But look at how many knees and ankles and different things have been affected because we don't have a plan. Here's our plan. Oh, somebody got it, shut down the facility. Maybe we'll play on Saturday, maybe we'll play on Sunday, maybe we'll play on Tuesday, maybe we'll play on the moon, maybe we'll play outside, maybe we'll play inside, maybe we'll play in traffic.
It's a never-ending thing. They are continuing to push things off, and I don't know.
Kick a can down the road. I haven't said that phrase in forever, and this is what we're doing. And the fact that the NFL, Roger Goodell came out yesterday and said, well, we have to be as flexible as possible about having a week 18. Well, your week 18 is going to happen. The question is, are you going to have a week 19? I would vote yes.
Yes.
I will personally bet there are 2 extra weeks put on the end of this year.
Absolutely.
Because in the NFL, where you play 16 games, you can't do what baseball did and say, oh, we'll do it based on your winning percentage. Because one game changes that drastically. And your ability to get on the field, you're actually hitting people. In baseball, they don't hit anybody. They slap fight every once in a while when they get pissed off because somebody threw a ball at them. This doesn't work in the NFL.
The Falcons and the Vikings game is in question after the, if I can't call it an outbreak, what am I calling it?
Anything else?
The small number of positive tests.
There it is.
There you go.
There it is. And see, that's more accurate, too.
That is more accurate.
More words, more accurate.
Yep.
The more you know.
4 positive tests in the Falcons organization could delay that game. I think they'll probably. I mean, if they have negative tests, there's no reason that this game can't be pushed off to Tuesday.
That could
done
happen
it already.
That could 100% happen.
Right, they've already done it.
That could happen.
So
But you're going to be in the same boat you were in last week
absolutely.
with Titans and Bills.
Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate.
It's just not a
because I thought this was
sustainable
a game they
process.
could win.
And I keep hearing, and I think I attack these guys more often because I hear them before we come in here. But Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zuba Mahenti, I respect all of you for what you do. But some of the things that come out of your mouth are about as stupid as they possibly could be. Of just these kick the can down the road ideas. None of this works. Mm-hmm. None of it. You cannot ask guys. The Falcons, for example. Here's in theory of what you're going to ask these guys to do. It's Thursday. Install was probably done yesterday. So they installed the game plan for this weekend. So now you're going to ask this team that has a new coach, because they didn't practice on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So on 2 practices with a new coach, you're going to ask a team to play on Tuesday. That hasn't been together, that's been meeting through Zoom calls. Okay, that's not sustainable. It's not sustainable, and guys will get hurt. You mark my words, guys will get hurt.
In this game.
Yes. Hopefully it won't be bad, but you keep tempting fate like this.
Mm-hmm.
You just had a Titans team play that hadn't practiced together in 2 weeks. Now, granted, it worked great. They were fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They had one practice that would literally damn near shut down the league because everybody lost their minds that they would want to practice. You know why you want to practice? Because it's a contact sport.
Repetition definitely helps. You got to keep your body tuned up so it doesn't break down on you, basically. It's like a car.
It's just, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm a sports talk show host. That's what I do. Mm-hmm. It is not my job to figure out, how can we fix this? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I can tell you right now, this ain't working. Mm-hmm. What you're doing right now is not working. If you're going to be this freaked out about the fact that a kid has a disease he doesn't even know he has, we can't keep doing it this way. If you're going to keep shutting down facilities and doing shit like that, we can't keep doing this. So you're going to have to figure out something better. Whether it's I don't know if it's a bubble. I don't know what it is.
Well, the bubble idea has been completely dismissed, that they can't do that during the regular season. You'd have to have, it would be trying to create an entire city.
I don't disagree with you.
Because if you got 4 teams together, well, hell, to make it work for a couple of weeks, you'd have to get like 8 teams together, rotate them in around. So
that was what I said. That was what I
said.
said in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you put the 2 divisions that play each other. Because like in the AFC, for example, we play the AFC West. Put the AFC West and the AFC East together. Play all of those games. And that's not kicking the can down the road. These are things that were going to happen.
Right, but the chief medical officer of the NFL has said that if you try to do that and do a bubble with like 8 teams, you're essentially trying to build a city because you've got 8,000 people that would have to be in there.
That's not in any way true.
Okay.
That's an over-dramatization. Do you know how many people travel with an average team? I've had this told to me by no less than 10 beat writers that work directly for NFL teams.
How many?
150 to 200 total.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about 1,600 people. Think about what I just said. You had half that in the NBA bubble. Mm-hmm. That's not including the league officials and things like that. This would not have been nearly as hard to do as they thought it was. You just had to do it smart. And Goodell has said we're going to keep this as normal as possible, but I mean, hell, you've got excuse me. The lunacy of this world is now you got Florida talking about full stadiums, and you've got other states that are on complete lockdown that it's the end of time. This is the end of days. And this is how stupid from pillar to post we have gotten in this country. I don't give a damn what side of this argument you fall on. There's dum-dums on both sides. Mm-hmm. And I had no intention of talking, politics and shit this morning. That's not my point. My point is that no matter what your politics are, there's one grandiose thing here that you can't get away from. You cannot ask guys to practice for 2 days under a new coach, shut the facility down for 3 days, and go, screw it, we'll just play on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Because eventually, whether it's this game or another game that you do this with, somebody is eventually going to get hurt because they were either in the wrong spot, they ran the wrong route, whatever the case may be, because you haven't had them on the field. You cannot coach football through a Zoom call. Can't do it. You cannot do it.
I agree. Anybody who says you can, I will question your sanity. But that's just me. You also have to think about the cheating aspect as well. Nobody has brought that up, but if you got a coach at home, there's more opportunity for him getting outside information that he couldn't get inside the stadium. What? Do you disagree?
Yeah, I do. You're going all Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol. You've watched too many damn movies. That's what what you just said confirmed to me that you have watched way too many damn movies in your life.
Why?
What inside information? Are you still talking about? You're talking about Saban here, right? Of why
Sure.
he can't coach outside the stadium. What information do you think he's going to glean?
I have no idea, but it gives them the opportunity to be able to set him up with more information than he would have on the field.
Yeah, if Nick Saban has any involvement in the game plan, he's got plenty enough going on that he ain't got time to do anything else.
Okay.
You understand, let's just, for argument's sake, Saban would be making, if he was outside of the building, he would be making general overseeing decisions. He can't make play calls because the delay is too great and you're risking way too much.
Right.
So Sarkisian would be calling the offense, and whoever coordinates the defense, they would be doing that. So he's having to make general overseeing decisions. He's constantly in communication with Sarkisian and whoever's calling the defense. Mm-hmm. He ain't got time to do anything else. I mean, it's not like he's sitting here pulling up, Google what some beat writers are reporting about what Georgia's going to do. It's just not there. That's not happening. The biggest problem is that the delay is going to be an absolute nightmare. Mm-hmm. And so if he has any direct contact with the coordinators, he's going to be so far behind being outside of that stadium. Because here's another thing that people aren't thinking about, and I thought this when Keyshawn and Jay were talking about this morning. I don't know if you've ever been in a stadium. Even, let's say, how many people are going to be in the stadium for this game?
Oh, like 12,000.
Okay, so it's 12,000. You got 12,000 people with cell phones, 12,000 people with devices. You also have all of the electronics that go into this. If you've never tried to make a phone call from inside a stadium, you don't know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a delay, and there's going to be electronic issues because that place is a sieve off the network. And so I don't care if you have a hard line. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you have a hard line. I don't care if you have a hard line closed circuit into the stadium. There's still going to be issues. Mm-hmm. So if he's not allowed in the building, he's going to have no involvement in this.
I agree with that, and that's his plan moving forward. Because he already said yesterday that he's handed all those head coaching duties on game day over to Sark.
Yeah, Sarkisian will be the one calling. He will be the one running this team. But this is also why you keep a guy like Steve Sarkisian on staff. I'm not saying he was a great coach because he wasn't, but he at least knows his process for how he works on game day. Mm-hmm. And he knows who needs to go where and what needs to happen and how that team needs to be prepared.
Hopefully there will be a full slate of games in the NFL this week. Not going to happen in the NCAA, as we've already had a couple of games postponed. Baylor's game was postponed. The LSU-Florida game also pushed back. And now this outbreak in the Falcons facility and the shutdown of the facility will likely mean that the Minnesota-Atlanta game needs to be delayed at least a couple of days. Elsewhere in the NFL, looking ahead to Week 6, Jeremy, who's your favorite play this week in fantasy? Do you have one that stands out to you and go,
no,
this dude's going to eat this week?
Yeah, you're too early for me on that. I'm still at the picking games. The way the way that my week works is that Monday night, especially with Tuesday, Jesus, God, I hate these friggin' Tuesday games. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like having football on Tuesday, but God, it throws my whole schedule off. Because I got to have power rankings ready on Wednesday. Usually it's Tuesday. Tuesday's when I start looking ahead. This week I was doing power rankings and moving shit around and just a day behind. I can tell you about games. I can't tell you about individual players.
Okay.
That will be on the Sunday morning show. 'Cause I'm going to need Saturday to do that.
to figure everything out. Well, looking at the games, where do you think the highest probability of a shootout will be?
If I was picking a shootout, Green Bay Tampa is going to be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs Bills is really hard for me to. I think that game's going to be so much better. People are going to overvalue Kansas City after what just happened to the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, the line hasn't moved that much yet, but it's gonna. You mark my words. When the public gets a hold of this, it is going to move, and it's going to move a lot.
But will they, though? I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just wondering, is there going to be more of a population that looks at it and goes, well, the Chiefs didn't look that great in their last game.
To the
either.
Raiders, a team that we've seen beat New Orleans on national television.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brand. Losing to a team like the Titans, to bettors, is the unforgivable sin, because that's the thing they don't know. And invariably, bettors look at teams like the Titans and go, I haven't watched them, so I'm going to undervalue them. You don't want to overvalue a team ever. And people will look at the Titans and go, I've seen them. I've seen them be bad. I've seen them get lucky to win games, and they're going to hold that against the Bills more than they will hold the Raiders against the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm doing it myself, to be really honest with you, and I think pretty highly of the Bills. I think that game's going to be fantastic. I think Cardinals-Cowboys is going to be a bajillion points.
Mm-hmm.
They could tell me the over-under of that game was 75, and I would, yep, I'm going to have that. Because neither one of them play any defense at all. And now Chandler Jones is not playing, which means Andy Dalton might throw 40 times.
Right.
Because he might have to.
Cowboys, Cardinals, Bills, and the Chiefs. That's the Monday night doubleheader. Remember, the Bills and the Chiefs was supposed to be Thursday night game, but that had to be moved, obviously, with the Bills playing on Tuesday night against the Tennessee Titans. I'm looking forward, obviously, to the Bucs and the Packers. I think it's not going to be a great outcome for us there, Ronnie.
Oh, Ronnie's all the way in.
Ronnie's in on it. He's like, he's completely on the Bucs are going to win this weekend, along with the Browns over the Steelers. Are you packaging those together, Ron?
Yep.
All right.
Indeed.
See, now you've got him hooked. Now you've created a monster.
I've turned Ronnie into Amarillo Slim, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. I'm very happy about it.
Right. Any others on week 6?
In terms of games that are going to be good or games that are going to be shootouty?
Games that are going to be good.
I think Rams 49ers is going to be really good, because I think the 49ers are way better than what they should.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a primetime spot. There's a reason that line's only 3.5. I mean, if you were setting the line based on last week, would you not have the Rams favored by more than 3.5?
Absolutely.
There you go. That's Vegas saying, watch this. I actually think this is a pretty good week of football.
I do as well. I think the Bears and the Panthers is going to be a good game. It'll be competitive, and I think it'll be close. No?
I just don't like the Bears. I just don't think they're good.
They're good enough to keep the games interesting.
Oh, here's a fun little stat that will tell you how evenly matched the games this week are. There is only one game that has over an 8.5 point spread. Would you care to guess who it is?
Eagles?
Ronnie said the Eagles. It's not the Eagles.
Not the Eagles.
It's the Dolphins favored over the Jets. The Dolphins, who are bad, favored over the Jets.
Wow. What is the
Every
spread?
other game is within a touchdown.
What
Or it can be found within a touchdown.
Right. What is the spread on that game?
9.5.
9.5.
Dolphins.
It jumped because it was 8.
Yeah, Dolphins. It's because the Jets are bad. And now without Le'Veon Bell, they don't have a running back. They already didn't have receivers. And their quarterback is Joe Flacco.
Did the line move on the Bengals? Because they were +8 a couple days ago.
Yeah, it's come down.
I had Bengals +8.
The Giants are a 2.5 point favorite against the Washington football team.
Which is the grossest shit I've ever heard in my life.
I think that is the weirdest line of the week. And it feels like, I don't know, is that a trap? Are they trying to trap people into that game? Because I wouldn't look at that game and go, yeah, the Giants are better than the football team.
I don't, and I'm going to have the football team.
Oh, you think they will win that game and cover?
Yeah. Washington?
Yeah. No, the Giants.
I just said I'll have the football team.
Oh.
That's Washington.
Oh, yeah.
I will have Washington.
See, this shit is just messing with my head.
I don't know how there's only one team that's named a generic, made-up name, and that's the Washington football team. No, I'll have Washington plus 2.5. I'll have Washington in the money line. They're the better team, and I don't think it's all that close.
I agree.
I mean, I would really like for the Giants to win so that now there would only be 2 winless teams in the NFL. But I don't think this is where it's going to happen.
Where do you think it's going to happen?
For the Giants?
Yeah.
They'll win something. They'll win a.
Gross game.
They'll win something stupid because that's what the Giants do. If I had to bet, I mean, it could be this week. It wouldn't shock me if it was this week.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to bet what game they're going to win,
At the Bengals?
At the Bengals. That has dumb Giants victory written all over it.
Yep. At the Bengals looks like a good one to me. Because honestly, I don't think there's many chances on that schedule.
There's not.
Because
they're terrible.
They have Seahawks and Browns and Ravens and Cowboys and yeah. Jeez. Good luck to you. I hope that you're right on that, because I would hate to see it come down to the end of the season and there's 2 0-16 teams and they get the number one
Not
pick
gonna happen.
over
The
you.
Giants will find a way to win a game. The Jets, on the other hand, will not.
They will not. They will not at all. Lions and the Jaguars fired up at 1 o'clock on Sunday.
I actually think that game's going to be. That's the sneaky shootout of the week.
Really?
Hell yes.
Okay.
That's 2 teams that don't play no damn defense. I'm gonna have I'm gonna have some pieces of that because nobody's gonna, but I'm gonna.
DJ Shark, big week this week.
DJ Chark. Yep. I like DJ Chark this week.
Nice. Almost did it
That's
again.
2.
That's 2. That's 2. The Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene at the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias. Be sure to like it, share it, and follow it. We'll be with you on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Of course, everywhere on the iHeartRadio app this afternoon at 3 o'clock, 3 to 5, every weekday. Y'all have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Jesus Christ.